back here at Jasper Place Arena. There you see it. Second half action coming up. 2-1, Fernview leading the Edmonton Westars here in this 1995 edition of the Canadian Ball Hockey Championship bronze medal game. Jeff Romaine and Henry Federici here joining me up in the broadcast booth. And Henry, a very good, entertaining first half. Should see the tempo and the intensity pick up a bit here in the second half.
Yeah, especially because this is the final period. But, you know, one thing I saw in the first half was at Fernview, they took a very aggressive method of clearing their own end and getting the ball up at center in a hurry, at the snap of the fingers. Also, they had a very, very aggressive, strong last minute in the first half. And I think that the momentum is going to carry them heading into the second period, second half.
Carusa taking the draw, wins it for Fernview. Second half action underway. Here's Griffith with a shot right on, and Remple stops that. McKay picks it up there, plays it over his brother Scott. Ball a little bouncy there, having some problems. Brodeur tries to get it out, and it's kept in there by Bryant Denny. Now Denny along the boards. Now here's a chance for Tukey, playing it for Brodeur. Here's Brodeur now. Long pass on the other side for McCarthy. McCarthy back for Magee. It was too far, and it's picked off there by Denny. Long pass up for Vasali. Vasali now with a shot, and right on. Remple stopping it, and McCarthy will go back, regroup, pick it up for the Westars. Along the boards there now, Stumer. Jeff Stumer coming across center. Just dumps it in. No icing on the play, and going back for it now, Brian Lazonsky from the Fernview Rangers, coming out of his own zone. Pass up on the other side for Griffith. Gary Griffith, pass picked off there by Justin Kidd. Now Stumer over for Rick Swan. Here comes Stumer, shot right on, and Polera with a good stop there as he got the blocker up to knock that down. Now the Westars trying to keep it in. It's kept in there by Rick Swan. Casella, he's being watched there by Tony Colucci. Now Stumer in the corner trying to get it over there for Kidd. And it'll be picked up on the other side by number 28, Terry Griffith of the Fernview Ranger, which played a minute and a half here in this second half. 2-1 again the score. As the ball's dumped in, Remple will come out of his net and knock it down. Team's a little bit slow in the start here, the second half. Here's Tkachuk for Stumer. He got it right back and plays it over the other side. It'll be picked up neatly there by the Fernview. That was Gino Spadafora. Now here's Kidd. Across the line for Stumer. He managed to get it back. Takes a look. Tries to get it across on the other side for Tkachuk. He does. It was a long air bomb pass. Polera had that one go off the side of the net, behind the net. Now here's Stumer taking a look. He's been ridden into the boards there by Griffith. Stumer pushing him back a little. Now it's scooped up on the other side neatly there by number 27, Gino Spadafora. We got another stoppage and play coming up here with 15:35 to go here in the second half.
We're going to take a look, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to share with you about some of the champions over the last number of years. 1994, 93, and 92, the three-time champion Ontario Fernview Rangers. In 91, it was the Ontario Top Guns. 1990, Ontario Provincial Glass. 89 was Ontario Eagles. And 1988, the Newfoundland Travelers, team you were alluding to earlier.
Go ahead, Henry. Sorry.
I was going to mention about Fernview. When I mentioned they got a very aggressive way of getting out of their own end, whereas in contrast, the Westars tend to pass it and slowly work their way up the ice. Work their way up the floor, pardon me. So, and a lot of times, as you notice, when you have an Eastern team and a Western team you see great contrast in styles.
Penalty called there against the Westars, so Fernview goes on the power play. 14 seconds has ticked off the old clock there as the ball went over the glass, so Westars will have to kill off a penalty, and I think this is the first time we're going to see the Fernview power play.
Yes, and we're going to see the Westars on the shorthanded situations really put to the test, especially in the aggressive manner that the Fernview, their power play. We'll get to more to Fernview in a minute.
Draw one cleanly there by Fernview. Comes back to the point. Brian Denny setting up the power play over on the other side for Griffith. He gets it over there for Caruso. Griffith, Denny tries to get it for Caruso. Good play there by Kevin Kelm to knock it down, but Griffith will pick it right back up. Comes over on the other side. Here's a shot for Macri. Oh, and Remple got a piece. McKay rides the player out there. I believe that would have been Nick Vaselli. And Remple does a good job to cover it up. 1:22 to go in the power play. And there you see one of the best defensive, all-around, probably solid defensemen in the game in Alberta would have to be
Rick McGee. And he made the transition from forward back to defense because for years he played forward as a winger. He's made the transition quite beautifully, I might add. Did you, in your opinion, do you think that was a late whistle on that last play? I saw the ball go into the net.
I thought that the whistle was fine, Henry, and everything, but the players probably agree with you because there was a lot of pushing and shoving. But
just kept on going.
I heard the whistle before I saw the ball go in. But it's difficult with the intensity up out there and everything that the players sometimes don't always hear that. It might more sound like a sneaker squeak or something, and the guys are out there to win. So better to be safe than sorry, I guess. Now here's Fernview with 1 minute and 3 seconds to go in the power play. Trying to get something going. That's number 99, Gus Carusa. Carusa now taking a look. Remple comes out of his net, plays it around the other side, and it'll be scooped up neatly there by Vaselli. Vaselli back to the point. Griffith now with it there. Over for Denny. Denny now over again for Vaselli. On the other side for Macri. Macri off the post. Booming shot there, as he had Remple beat, but he just couldn't get it inside the 2 red posts. He hit the side of one and no goal there. Here's a chance for Stumer as McCarthy was ridden into the boards hard there. Again, McCarthy taking a little bit of punishment there. McGee leans into one of the Fernview players. Now here's a chance. Shot by Macri. Good stop by Remple in front. And a good job there by the Westars. They tied up the rebound. As Fernview still with 14 seconds to try and add to their total. There's Tukey. He was checked there neatly along the boards by Paul Gregors. There's a shot. Remple with another stop as it kind of went off of his pad high up over top of the net. Macri with a shot. Remple with another stop, and a good pressure by Fernview here as Tukey will just pick it up, try to get it there for Rick Swan. Swan racing in there on down the middle floor area there, and he was ridden out along the play there, but neatly by defenseman number 24, Dennis Druzilla. I'll get that one right here, Henry, before the game's over. Now Remple covering it up. And Dennis Andruzzi.
We got a face-up coming to the right of Remple. And in the last 5 minutes, Remple has been extremely busy. I've noticed he's had to make some glove saves. He's had to make some shots that bounce off his shoulder all the time or his arm. And I think it seems right now the Westars are still not getting used to the fact that Fernview uses such a fast breakout play. In the last power play they had, the Westars worked their way down the floor and got a shot, got an opportunity. And Fernview, at the snap of a fingers, in 2 passes, was just past the Westars blue line. And they got some very good pressure on Remple on that last power play.
As you're sure you can tell, the Fernview Rangers, a lot of Italian, Canadian flavor to their roster. Sitting down before the game talking to Coach Dan Rinaldi, and we had a little bit of fun trying to get these names right. He said, don't worry about it. If you get it wrong a few times, the guys will have a good chuckle when they watch the game later. So my apologies. But they'll be in Toronto by the time they see the game anyway, so it'll be a long distance phone call to give me a hard time anyways. Play continuing on here now. Here's Rick Swan for the Westars. Trying to pick it up. Gets it over for Kinsella. Back to Tkachuk. Over for Swan again. And he was checked there. And here's a long lead pass for number 32, Bob Clark. And he couldn't corral it there. And now here's Tkachuk coming back, trying to get over there for Rick Swan. It was too far for him, and it's picked up neatly there in the corner by number 27, Gino Spadafora. Spadafora with a long lead pass. It's picked off by Jeff Stumer. Now Brodeur. He's got Kidd. Gives it to him. Long pass, there's a chance. Stumer banging away, empty net, and it rolls off to the side and cleared away by the Fernview defense, and Remple comes out of his net to play it there for Tkachuk. Tkachuk, long pass there for Justin Kidd, and he couldn't get it to him, and Fernview coming back now. That's number 17 with a shot right on Remple. Good shot away there. That was Dominique Monopoly with the blast, and Remple's looked good in this game. Fernview has had the bulk of the shots on goal. Now McCarthy for Kidd. Here's Kidd now racing down the side. He's got McCarthy and Brodeur with him. Brodeur will race down into the corner, pick it up there. Taking a look, he circles back, tries to center it for Scott Magee, and it just was a little bit behind him. And Kelm will keep it in. Now Fernview trying to get it all the way down. Icing is waved off as Remple comes out and slips and falls on his backside as Tukey picks it up for the Westars. 11-12 to go here in this second half. 2-1 Fernview leads. Westars trying to get something going here as they trail by a goal. There's a shot. Now here's Kelm for the Westars. He's being worked over there by one of the Fernview players. Now here's Kelm taking a look. Fernview picks it up. And a chance now for Fernview, racing in and rubbed out on the play there by Scott Magee, number 3 defenseman. Was number 55 from Fernview, Daryl Morrison. He was trying to race.
We got a penalty coming up.
And yes, we do.
This was an uncalled for penalty because here was Scott Magee, number 3, who went ahead and tripped number 55, appeared to be number 55, Daryl Morrison. And it was absolutely unnecessary.
He's a little slow getting up.
Just in the corner, and this was already behind the play, and Magee was behind him, and he just tripped him. He was actually of no threat. We're going to see this here, ladies and gentlemen, right to the left of Dean Remple. And this is all after the fact. So Fernview will go on a power play. Okay, first he nudges him in the corner, and he's going to shoot the ball around. There's Scott Magee, number 3. Okay, he's already cleared. Now right there you saw that hack right to the legs. He went down. You get a power play coming up for Fernview. An opportunity for them to score and go up by 2 goals with just over 10 minutes remaining in the second half. This could be the play that blows the game open.
Well, Fernview, obviously, Mr. Morrison there took exception to it a little bit. We didn't see the retaliation on our screen there, but it looks like Morrison's in the blocks as well, Henry, so this may just turn out to be an even strength situation. Dale Tukey, one of the assistant captains for the Westars, is over there talking to the referee right now and just trying to figure out what exactly is going on there. You see Jim Chandic from Quebec discussing it with Dale Tukey, so they'll get this all sorted out here in a second. And you got an unsportsmanlike call, I think, going to the Westars as well, as Dale Tukey was maybe not too pleased with what was going on. So this will still be a power play advantage. Looks like the Westars will pick up the extra one, arguing or showing their displeasure towards the referee. And Jeff Stumer's in the box. Now he's leaving. Kachuk's going back in there. So I don't know if they're ejecting Stumer from the game or whether the Westars are just trying to figure out, Henry, who should serve the team penalty, the minor penalty. Fernview on the power play, their second one here. Westars shut them down in the first one. Here's a chance in front. Back to the side there. That's Nat Macri. Macri now back to the point. There's a shot. Remple playing it around the boards now. He can't get it out. It's Swan sitting there. Now here's Fernview trying to set up again. It's Brian Denny for Fernview. Over on the other side there. Macri back to Denny. Denny fakes the shot, takes a look back to Macri. They're trying to set up the one-timer. Macri. Denny's got it now. Back to Macri. Macri faking the shot back to Denny. Over to Griffith. Griffith with a one-timer, and he fired it wide as Remple was out to challenge. Now here's Macri with a shot. That goes off of a leg in front. I believe it went off of Kinsella, and it's bouncing around in the corner there. Rick Magee trying to corral it. Now Swan and Macri battling along the boards, and Denny picks it up outside the blue line. Here's Brian Denny over for Griffith. Griffith now trying to get it in front, and Remple just steers it into the corner as there was really nobody there. And Macri picks it up 46 seconds to go. Here's Griffith with a shot. That one didn't even get through as Remple tried to kick the rebound or corral it into the corner somehow, but it was picked up. Here's a chance in front, and again it hits a maze of players in front, and they're scrambling away for it, and it's scooped up neatly there by Vasily. Vasily back to the point. There's a shot that goes off of a leg and high up over top as Brian Denny let a boomer go and just couldn't get on net. Good job by the Westars there, Henry, as you see Remple, who's been very busy in this game, not letting the shots get through, and when they did, clearing those rebounds out right away.
The Fernview Rangers seem to do everything right, but every time they took a shot, it went off an ankle, it went off a leg, it went off a body. And credit to the Westars because they really formed the box, and they didn't allow Fernview to get that crisp pass within right in the slot area. Everything was from the outside, so that forced Fernview to take the slap shots. And also when they were on the corners, taking shots towards Remple, they were not great shots because they were not at the perfect angle. However, they were swarming around Remple.
There's Remple, as you mentioned, with another good stop there, and you're completely right in your analysis there, Henry. Remple's been very solid, but he's only had to make one. There's a tough goal as he made the stop. He kicked out the rebound. It went off of a Fernview player's leg, number 11, Paul Grigoris, and I'll tell you what, that's a tough one, Henry.
That is a tough one, especially they've done so well in the shorthanded situation so far. I want to show you something, ladies and gentlemen, this play. Now watch this. You'll notice how Westars got the box. There's the shot. Now it just goes off a body and it just kind of just strolls right in. And Remple didn't know whether he was lost with something else that was in front of him or just. This is an odd goal. And Remple had some extremely difficult shots, and all of a sudden, maybe he lost sight of the ball, but it's a heartbreaker when something like that just goes off a body and just kind of just takes a couple of bounces and goes past the goal line. That's a tough goal for the Westars.
Fernview opening up a 3-1 lead now with 8:26 to go here in the second half. So Westars have their work cut out for them to try and get this one back to even terms and hopefully add another one and win themselves a bronze medal here at this year's Nationals. There's a shot right on Remple with the stop. That blast courtesy of Gino Spadafora. Now here's Tkachuk coming out of his own zone. Now it's picked off there and racing back in. There's Monopoly. Monopoly with a shot. And Remple again equal to the task. He kicks it into the corner. Here's Brodeur. His pass picked off. There's a shot. Doesn't get through. That one was let go by Stravrianis from the Fernview Rangers. Now here comes McCarthy back for the Westars. McCarthy for Tukey. Too far. And Bruno Pereira with the stop. And hasn't been very busy for him. This second half is not dominated by the Fernview Rangers, but they've comfortably enjoyed the edge and play.
Yeah, and I think so. And as we were alluding to earlier, with all these opportunities that Fernview's getting over the Edmonton Westars, it's like, it's slowly wearing down the Westars, and soon these opportunities are going to be converted. But, ladies and gentlemen, there you see Dan Rinaldi, who's the coach and GM of the Fernview Rangers, and I take my hat off to him. He's done a phenomenal job at getting this team organized, keeping them together over these years, and still keeping them motivated year in, year out.
Actually, Henry, Dan Rinaldi's the guy with a little bit less hair. That was assistant coach Don Schultz, but you're exactly correct. That coaching staff keeping the guys interested, keeping things going, and as you mentioned, a little bit of disappointment yesterday in the semifinal, but you'll hear from this team again in the future. Very difficult. They did what nobody had done before. They won 3 national championships in a row. Best Western Travelers did it once. They won 2 in a row, but not 3. And before Pete is 1 goal shy this year. Now here's a chance. Stumer, he scores, and a great move by Jeff Stumer as he walked in, put the fake on, and flipped the backhander over goaltender Bruno Pereira, who was kind of down a little bit.
Jeff
so
Stumer,
3-2 now.
Jeff Stumer's been one of the best, one of the most valuable players the Westars had in this tournament. Here's going to see Magee. He's coming in. He's going to pass it over Stumer. Stumer's going to come right in. Watch him just walk in, makes the beautiful deke move, and he went midway to the upstairs region of the net. Beautiful deke.
So the Westars close it to a 3-2 score in favor of Fernview with lots of time to go here. 6:40 in this second half, and they'll look to try and get one more here and tie this one up. Now here's Brodeur. He's being worked over there by one of the Fernview defensemen, Tukey now. See a little bit of new life here by the Westars, who gained a little bit of life with that last goal there. A great play by forward Jeff Stumer. Here's Remple now. He just plays a long lead pass along the boards. It's picked off by the Fernview player, and offside will be the call as Nat Macri carried it in before one of his players could get out of the zone.
And on that last play, it appeared that based on the positioning by Bruno Polera, perhaps he anticipated a pass because there were several Westars on Bruno Polera's right side. And credit to Stumer because he saw that opening and he went right for it, just walked right in. But as I was alluding to earlier about mentioning earlier about the Fernview Rangers, and yeah, we got it mixed up regarding the coaches there. Rinaldi and Schultz, again, it's very difficult when a team wins a championship, 3 times like that to go back for a 4th one and come back another season. And with everybody trying to vie up against you and trying to beat you and changing, and you can still go in there year in, year out and still win championships and even be there at the Nationals.
Exactly correct. There's George Gorsos. He was coughed it up now, and it'll be flipped in by Swan. Now the Fernview trying to get it out. Their 3-time championship started in Vancouver in '92. Won in their 2nd one in Ottawa in '93, and last year in St. John's, Newfoundland, had the 3rd one, and they were looking to 4-peat here, and I'll tell you what, they played great throughout the tournament. Another team that played really, really well as well, not to take anything away, the Edmonton Westars lost 2-1 in that overtime game last night in Montreal in the semi.
Yeah.
They took the 1-0 lead with about 5 minutes to go in the game. A great crowd here, was just excitement in the air, and then on a kind of a not a bad goal, but just an unlucky bounce and an empty netter. Quebec tied it up, and then about 7 minutes into overtime on a great goal, the Quebec team went ahead and won the semifinal. So a little bit of a heartbreaker, both these teams. Once you get to the Final Four at Nationals, it's usually anybody can win. And that's another reason why, again, winning 3 or 4 Nationals in a row is quite the feat. Here's Scott Magee. Now, 5 minutes to go. Westars trailing by 1. Here in this 1995 Canadian bronze medal game. Picked off there, Fernview with a shot right on. And it's covered up by Remple as number 17, Dominic Monopoly, with the boomer.
You know, I was just going over the resume of the Rangers there. You see now, the gentleman on the right with the less hair, that is their coach. He's done a phenomenal job. Fernview Rangers, they've won the championship the past 3 years. Pardon me, Dan Rinaldi, he's the coach and GM. There you see the close-up. And I have to take my hat off to him. He's done a phenomenal job over the years at their accomplishments. I was looking over the resume. They won the Philadelphia Challenge Cup, and in 1994 they have the credit of winning the Can-Am. They were the Can-Am Challenge Cup champions. So they have not only won here in Canada, but they've won in the United States as well.
They're talking about there's some talk about Ontario entertaining some international tournaments. As you just saw, the lights kind of pick up here a little bit in the arena, and it looks like the
generator's working.
I'm not sure what happened, but we have a little bit more light. I've heard the crowd react to that. Now here's Rick Magee with a shot right on, and Polera with a stop. Westars starting to come to life a little bit here as they're applying a little bit of pressure with just over 4 minutes to go here. Urgency starting to be assessed to the Westars, who trail by 1 here. Under 4 minutes to go. Here's a chance for Tukey in front. There's a shot. Polera with the stop, and they're banging away at it. And now Fernview will carry it out, 2-on-1. Racing down the side, that's Veloci. Great, walks right in, a shot. Remple got a piece of it, and a good stop there as Dean Remple keeps this to a 1-goal game. There's another shot. Good job by Rick Magee there as he blocked that one. Fernview now want to add one more and get this one salted away. Jerry Veloci just dumps it into the corner now. It'll be picked up on the other side there by Carusa. Carusa now trying to squirt out in front, and a good job there by Scott Magee as he just tucked the ball underneath the glove of goaltender Remple, and we'll have a face-off coming up with 3:24 to go here. Fernview Rangers out of Toronto leading this one 3-2.
Here we're going to see number 19 of the Fernview Rangers, Jerry Veloci. There it is, from the center. Now watch how far he goes, past the blue line, and he's allowed to take in a shot. Now, of course, granted, Magee, he was facing a 2-1-on-1 situation, so he had to wait for the shooter to make the first move or determine where he was going to, his position was, and well, that's what happens sometimes. It appears like a guy just walks in, but the defenseman's just trying to hold things down.
Blazonski couldn't get that shot through, and here come the Westars right back now, and it's dumped all the way down, and you can sense that maybe Fernview's sitting back a little bit here and just trying to play this one out, which is not exactly a bad move either, because they got a great defensive squad, and there hasn't been a ton of goals scored here in this game.
Yeah, I saw him yesterday in the semifinal against the Burnaby Bulls, and that was a defensive battle. It was a low-scoring game right until the second period. Then we started seeing a pickup of goals. But I think also perhaps Fernview, they've got a very, very strong bench. So they may be a little bit more well-rested than the Westars, who've got two lines and a player or two.
Now here, Fernview. That's McGriff. Playing it behind his own net. Knocked down on the other side. Long lead pass up. Now here's a chance for Fernview as it's picked up neatly there by Magee. He's got a goal in this game. Here's a shot. Remple got a piece of it. Rebound played back into the corner as Vaselli trying to set something up. He's got Carusa out there with him. Comes back to the point now. That's Lazonski. And it's intercepted there by Rick Swan, and he sends it all the way back. It'll go right on net. And Bruno Plurera will just tip it over into the corner, and Fernview will regroup. 2:22 to go here in the second half. 3-2 Fernview leads. We'll be looking for goaltender Remple to come out of the pipes here soon. It's for the extra attacker if the Westars don't get anything going here in the next minute or so. Here's Tukey playing it behind the net. Kelm up on the other side. McCarthy. Here's McCarthy. He's being harassed at center, and he plays it over the other side for a kid now. Oh, long pass there. McCarthy just couldn't get to it, or he would have been in alone. And bringing it back is Sel Bambach. Bambach now dumps it in around behind the net. Remple stops it there and leaves it for Tukey. Tukey around the boards. Kinsella pick it up there. Randy Kinsella to center. Here's Kinsella. Pass for Brodeur. Minute and a half to go here in the game. Westars now. Here's McCarthy with a shot, and that one went off a leg and into the corner. Now Tukey. Good stop. Polera, another shot at Polera. Rob Doug McCarthy on the doorstep. Westars have really picked it up here, Henry, in the last minute. Another shot there by Kinsella. Now here's Brodeur. And Polera, who's made about 6 stops in the last 30 seconds, about 3 of the tough variety, Henry, says, hey, enough is enough. Let's cover this up and regroup with 1 minute and 17 seconds to go.
Yeah, regroup is right, and also break the momentum of the Westars like that. But you saw that play where McCarthy was right in front of the net and Polera was down, and McCarthy took 1 extra second to take a look where to put it, and as he shot it, it got snuffed. But some tremendous pressure by the Westars. But once again, as we spoke about before, it's that ability to convert your opportunities that makes you the winner and the champion. And that's one thing throughout this tournament, as I mentioned in the game last night against the Montreal Storm, and tonight, they've had their opportunities, they've created their opportunities, but they've had the inability to convert and capitalize on their opportunities.
Timeout is called here by the Westars. They'll just try to figure out what they're going to do in the last minute 17. And Nationals have gone really well this year here in Edmonton. Some good crowds. And these teams, both of them, only 1 loss between the 2 of them in the round robin. There you see the divisions. And
look at those records. Fernview Rangers 5-0, and then the Westars were 2-1-2.
They finished second in that division. Burnaby.
And Division B, the Montreal Storm. They were there. They were 4-0-1, and notice that all the 3 other teams in the semifinals, they were the Rangers, the Westars, and the Burnaby Bulls. And I think my prediction is that the Burnaby Bulls will win the national championship. That's my prediction. And I thought they were par excellence defensively last night.
Just to show the folks at home how what type of flawless hockey you have to play in this tournament just to get to the semifinals. 4 men's teams. A total of 20 games, 2 losses between 4 teams.
Yeah.
2 losses.
And also to the right of your pen was also I noticed you were taking the plus minus. How important that is in the event of tie.
There was a tiebreaker between Fernview and the Calgary Bullets, or not Fernview and the Calgary Bullets, but rather Burnaby and the Calgary Bullets. And the Bullets were eliminated on a 3-goal differential in that plus-minus, so you're exactly right there.
And imagine if Burnaby wins the national championship, how those goals were important.
Now the Westars with the extra attacker, just under a minute to go here, trying to tie this up and send it to overtime. Now here's Brodeur. He's trying to center it in front, and Fernview will grab it a long pass all the way down, and it will miss the net, so icing will be called as Rick McKay goes back to touch it with 38 seconds. And again, the Westars will have one more opportunity to try and set something up in the zone and tie this one up. Remind our viewers, Henry, real quickly also, that we will have the women's bronze medal game as well as the gold of the women's and the men's championship game between Burnaby and Montreal Storm coming up. Future broadcasts here on the Ball Hockey Network, Videotron.
So all viewers in your local community stations, stay tuned to your local listings for times and dates for the ball hockey the tremendous championship ball hockey that you're seeing here in Edmonton, 1995. Face-off coming to the right of Polera.
Draws one there by the Fernview Rangers. Comes back though to McGee. McGee with a shot and tried to deflect it from McCarthy with a spinorama, and he couldn't get the shot away. And time's starting to tick down again. 20 seconds to go. There's a shot there by Rick Swan. It goes off of a leg in front, up over top of the glass, comes back down, and give Doug McCarthy, number 12, full marks. He's really trying to pull this out. Good shot there by Rick Swan, and they still have 19 seconds and a face-off deep inside Fernview's zone to try and get that big goal to tie this up.
Yes, and not only that, but one of the Westars in front of that lost his stick, and had he had his stick, he might have been able to get in front of it and make a deflection there. Everybody up for the Westars.
Face-off now. It's won there by Westars. There's Brodeur with a shot. Polera was going to come out and play it, changed his mind. Now here's a centering play in front. The net was knocked off. Westars are claiming it was knocked off on purpose. If that's the case, this will probably end up in a penalty shot in favor of the Westars, but I don't know if the referees are going to see it that way.
It's going to be a very, very tough call.
Delay a game in the last 2 minutes is a penalty shot.
Yeah, and I'm going to say that if I was the coach of Fernview, if you can get away with something like that, do it. And it appears they have. Number 9, Ron Brodeur, got his stick flung in the air, did a couple of pirouettes, went up in the air and fell down the ice. And he went to go fetch his stick. Now, had he had his stick prior to that previous play, he could have got in front of that and made a deflection, because Polera had to make a very, very big save on that shot from McGee on the point.
There's Rick McGee, and he just rifles one. Good stop by Polera. Again, as the Westars are starting to really run out of time, but they only ticked 2 ticks off the clock there. Took it from 9 seconds down to 7 and got a good scoring opportunity.
Well, I know that Dan Rinaldi's been through this several times, and he has laid out strategy for the Fernview team. I'm surprised he hasn't taken a timeout this late in the game to get things together. But they've been through this several times before. They know exactly what it is they have to do. Watch for a crisp, clean clearing pass, not a vicious slap shot when trying to go around the boards. You want to make sure that in a situation like this, you actually clear the ball rather than have it intercepted or going off the boards or going off somebody's leg and the Westars getting possession.
Jocelyn for position here. 7 seconds to go. Face-off now. It's won. Here's Rick McGee with a shot. He fired that wide, and that's probably going to do it now as Kinsella turns around and fires. The siren goes, and that'll be it. The 1995 bronze medal game goes to the Fernview Rangers out of Northwest Toronto in a hard-fought victory over the Edmonton Westars here. And Henry, Fernview enjoyed the play a little bit throughout the game and that, but full marks to both teams. They came out hard-fought battle. Somebody's got to win, somebody's got to lose. Was impressed with the Westars towards the end as they came on and closed it to a 3-2 margin, but just couldn't get that third goal.
It was a little bit too late. Now, the Westars are a team, they could be dominated and still win the game because they've got that kind of firepower. Now, Fernview, their three consecutive championship streak is over. They still go home with a medal, that being the bronze, and you can rest assured you're going to see them in Montreal next year.
Well, Henry, thanks for joining me here. Again, we have several more games to come in future weeks here on the Ball Hockey Update. Again, the final score, the Fernview Rangers from Toronto 3, Edmonton Westars 2. On behalf of myself, Jeff Romaine, Henry Federici, and our director Larry Luckenchuk, we'll see you again next time.